I'm Tessa Villalon and I'll be speaking on behalf of CARA Welfare Philippines, an organization that I have been a part of for the past 8 years. Thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of this event. Thank you for the chance to put the welfare of animals in the spotlight. CARA Welfare Philippines was formed in the year 2000 by a dedicated group of animal lovers determined to help the plight of animals in the Philippines. Our mission is to promote responsible pet ownership, spaying and neutering of pets and stray animals, and of course, pet adoption. We are a non-profit, non-government organization that receives no government funding. We rely solely on private donations. Responsible pet ownership is very crucial because if there were no irresponsible owners, there would most likely be no street animals. Why do we advocate so strongly on spaying and neutering? Every week we hear reports of plans of rounding up cats to relocate them or dispose of them. This is not a long-term solution nor a humane one. When cats are forcefully removed from an area, new cats will occupy the space and multiply. It becomes a never-ending cycle. Cats are part of the community. They're not pests. So why not have a CNVR program instead? So what is this? CNVR stands for catch, neuter, vaccinate with anti-rabies, and return. This is a community effort and will only succeed if everyone in the community supports and understands why it's in place, why it needs to be done. What's involved in CARA's CNVR program? We have a driver and a catcher who go to areas where our services are acquired. They catch an allotted number of cats and take them to the clinic where they wait for surgery. Surgery is usually done by our part-time veterinarians the day after they are caught. They're also given anti-rabies shots on the day of surgery. And since they need to recuperate, they're also placed at CARA's recovery area for a few days before they're returned. Those exhibiting signs of illness will have to stay a little bit longer for medication.
So this is CARA's recovery room. This is where community cats under the CNPR program stays before and after the spay and neuter surgery.
Once approved for return, the catcher and the driver will send them back to the place where they were caught. There must be an agreed upon system in place where there are willing volunteers or animal compassionate residents responsible for feeding the cats in designated feeding areas at regular times. This helps to prevent the cats from loitering in places where they shouldn't and prevents them from digging inside garbage cans and making a mess. Cooperation and understanding are needed on all sides for the CNVR program to work effectively. This way, the cats can exist in the community and won't be considered as a nuisance. This way as well, they won't be able to reproduce and multiply, thus controlling the population. And this will make everyone in the community happy. Our ultimate goal is to build a community where cats and humans can coexist harmoniously. You might be wondering why CARA ended up with so many cats in their cattery when we constantly remind people that we're not a shelter. Well, the cats that we have came to us in different ways. One example is when a cat is too sick to be returned after CNVR, we invest in treating and medicating them and nursing them back to health. At the same time, we get to know them, get to know their personality, and try to find a suitable home for them through our adoption program. And this is where our cat adoption program comes in. We don't adopt out to just anyone who comes along and asks for a cat. Our process is quite strict as we want the cats to end up in safe homes where they will be properly cared for. The adoption process involves filling out an application form first. This helps us determine the type of cat that would best match the applicant since cats have different personalities. It actually makes us happy every time we find the perfect match for our applicant. Then the following steps would be an interview and a home visit. Now, since it's the pandemic, photos of the home would be accepted, but in the future, we still plan to visit the cats that we have adopted out to check on them. Then once an adopter is approved, he or she will just have to pay a minimal fee, an adoption fee, which will go back to the cats that we're caring for until they themselves find homes. In a perfect world, all our cats in CARA will end up in homes where they will be cared for the rest of their lives. But reality is, not all will have this future due to medical issues, behavioral issues, or simply not being chosen for adoption. That's why we're very grateful for all the support that we receive to be able to provide food and safety for these animals. Another group of animals that CARA provides a home for are the Laguna Pit Bulls, who were rescued in 2012 from a dog fighting ring. The time they came under CARA's care, there were 190 pit bulls. Imagine that. And because of the help of dedicated volunteers, they were nursed back to health, rehabilitated, neutered by volunteer vets, and some were even adopted out. Now there are only 15 pit bulls remaining. Others passed away already due to medical complications and old age. There's a special place in my heart for these pit bulls. I've been visiting them ever since I started volunteering in CARA 8 years ago. I would take them out on walks and I would give them treats, and they would love it. They would love the visits from all the volunteers, and it really mattered and it really helped them get through all the trauma that they experienced. So I hope you can also maybe find time to visit the remaining pit bulls and see for yourself how really caring and showing love for these animals can make a big difference in their lives. CARA continues to exist with the help of generous supporters, benefactors, volunteers, and people like you who allow us to speak about our advocacy. Once again, thank you for having us speak at your event. We hope that we've imparted an important message that you will remember and share with others. Be kind to animals. Spay and neuter your pets. Be responsible pet owners.